Someone starts explaining something. At first, you're okay. You're following. You're nodding. Then the speed changes. They talk faster. Their sentences connect. The words blur together. You're still listening, but you're falling behind. And the hardest part isn't that you don't understand. It's that you don't know when to stop them. You wait for a pause. It doesn't come. You think, I'll catch up. I'll understand the next sentence. But the next sentence is even faster. And now you're smiling again, nodding again, feeling that familiar pressure in your chest. This moment happens quietly, but it leaves a mark. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie,
This is Real Talk English.
a podcast about everyday English and real conversations.
Today we're talking about something closely connected to the last episode.
How to ask people to repeat or slow down without feeling embarrassed.
Not classroom English.
Just real-life moments. This is one of the hardest things for me, because when I don't understand, I don't always know why. Sometimes it's the speed, sometimes it's the accent, sometimes it's just the way the sentence is put together. But in the moment, I just know one thing. I'm lost.
And speed makes everything worse.
Yes, because when someone talks fast, I feel rushed, even if they're not rushing me. I feel like I need to react quickly, like if I don't say something right away, it'll be awkward.
That pressure builds fast.
Very fast. What usually happens is I tell myself, just wait, they'll slow down, it'll be clear in a second. But it usually isn't.
And then the gap grows.
Exactly. And the longer I wait, the harder it feels to interrupt. Because now they've said more, so stopping them feels bigger.
That's an important detail.
It feels like I missed my chance, and I don't want to seem rude. I don't want to break the flow, so I stay quiet.
Even though staying quiet doesn't help.
Right. And then later I realize I misunderstood something important, a task, a plan, a time. And fixing it later feels much more embarrassing than asking in the moment.
That's something many learners discover the hard way.
Yes. I also notice this happens more when I'm tired, at the end of the day, after work, when my brain is already full.
Listening in another language takes energy.
A lot of energy. And when someone talks fast, it feels like my brain can't keep up. Not because I'm bad at English, but because I'm human.
That's an important distinction.
I used to think if I were better at English, this wouldn't happen. But now I see that even when I understand English well, speed can still be a problem.
There are a few reasons why asking someone to repeat or slow down feels uncomfortable. And again, most of them are not about language. The first reason is interruption fear. Many people feel that interrupting is rude. So even when they're confused, they wait.
I wait too long.
Most people do. But conversations don't have perfect stopping points. If you wait for a perfect moment, it may never come.
That's true.
The second reason is social hierarchy. At work, for example, you might feel you shouldn't interrupt a boss, a client, or someone senior, so the pressure increases.
Yes. I feel that a lot at work. I think, they're busy. I don't want to slow them down.
But not understanding slows things down more later. The third reason is self-blame. Instead of thinking, this is fast, many learners think, I'm slow.
That thought comes very quickly.
And it's not fair. Understanding spoken language depends on many things: speed, clarity, environment, accent, and even mood. Not all of those are under your control.
That helps to hear.
Another reason this moment is hard is fear of repetition. Some learners worry, what if I ask again and still don't understand? So they don't ask at all.
That's a big one for me.
But asking again is still better than pretending. And there are different ways to ask. Which brings us to the most important part. Before we talk about phrases, we need to change one belief.
This belief caused me a lot of stress.
Asking someone to repeat or slow down is not a failure. It's a communication skill. This is the part many learners need to hear clearly. Asking someone to repeat or slow down is not a sign that you're bad at English. It's a sign that you care about understanding. Native speakers do this all the time. They interrupt each other, they ask for clarification, they say, "Wait, what?" They say, "Sorry, can you say that again?" And no one thinks twice about it.
That's very different from how it feels as a learner.
Because learners often feel they need to earn the right to ask. They think, once my English is good enough, then I can ask. But that's backwards. You ask so your English can be good enough in that moment.
So asking is part of understanding, not something after it.
Exactly. Another important thing to remember is this. When someone talks fast, it's usually not about you. They might be excited, they might be tired, they might speak fast naturally. Speed is not criticism.
I always take it personally.
Many people do. But once you stop blaming yourself, it becomes much easier to speak up. Let's talk about the phrases people really use when they need someone to repeat or slow down. We'll go step by step. Sometimes you just need to stop the flow gently. People often say, "Sorry, 1 second," or "Sorry, can I stop you there?" These phrases sound polite because of the tone, not the length.
That feels scary to say.
It feels scary at first, but it's very normal. It shows you're engaged. When you didn't hear clearly, people say, "Sorry, could you say that again? I didn't quite catch that. Can you repeat the last part?" "I didn't quite catch that" sounds especially soft.
I like that one.
It sounds calm and polite. And notice, none of these explain why. They don't say, "My English is bad." They don't say, "You're speaking badly." They just adjust the moment. When speed is the issue, people say, "Could you slow down a bit?" Or, "Sorry, can you speak a little slower?" You don't need to say please every time. Your tone already does the work.
That's surprising.
Overusing please can actually make you sound nervous. Simple and calm is better. Sometimes it helps to be specific. People say, "The last part was a bit fast," or "I missed the name," or "I didn't catch the number." This shows effort and focus.
It feels more professional.
Exactly. If you understood part of it, you can check, "So you mean," or "Just to confirm." These phrases buy you time and clarity.
They also make me feel more confident.
Because you're participating, not hiding.
What I notice is that all of these phrases are short. I always thought I needed long sentences to sound polite, but these sound more natural.
Because politeness comes from intention, not length.
I also notice that none of them sound apologetic. They don't feel heavy.
Yes, apologizing too much makes the moment bigger than it needs to be.
Yes. Apologizing too much makes the moment bigger than it needs to be.
Exactly.
I used to wait so long to interrupt that the conversation was already finished.
That's very common.
Then I'd say, "Actually," and it felt even more awkward.
Timing matters, but perfection doesn't.
I guess asking earlier feels strange, but fixing things later feels worse.
That's a good way to put it. Now let's look at how this sounds in real life. Not as acting, just everyday moments. Let's slow this down and imagine how these moments actually happen. Not perfect conversations, not scripted ones, just normal life. Imagine you're in a meeting. Someone starts explaining a task. They're confident, they're speaking quickly. You understand the first part, but then they move on.
This is where I usually panic.
Instead of waiting, you interrupt gently. You say, "Sorry, can I stop you for a second?" They pause. You follow with, "I missed the last part." That's it. No long explanation, no apology spiral.
That sounds much calmer than what I do.
Because calm English feels professional. People don't hear weakness, they hear clarity.
And if they keep talking fast?
Then you say, "Sorry, could you slow down a little?" Most people adjust immediately. Now imagine a casual conversation. Someone is telling a story. They're excited, they're talking fast. You miss a name or a detail.
This happens a lot.
You smile and say, "Wait, who was that?" Or, "Sorry, can you repeat that part?" These interruptions don't break the flow. They support it.
Because you're showing interest.
Exactly. People like being listened to. Asking questions makes conversations better, not worse. Phone calls are harder. You don't have facial cues, you can't read lips.
This is the worst for me.
So here, clarity is even more important. You can say, "Sorry, the line isn't very clear. Could you repeat that?" Or, "Can you say that more slowly?" These phrases sound normal on the phone.
And no one expects perfect understanding on a call.
Exactly. Phone conversations are hard for everyone.
Listening to these examples, I realized something. I thought asking people to repeat was about language, but it's actually about permission.
That's a big insight.
I never gave myself permission to pause the conversation. I felt like the conversation controlled me.
And now?
Now, it feels like I can participate, even if I don't understand everything. I don't need to keep up perfectly. I just need to stay present.
That's the goal.
It also makes conversations less tiring because I'm not pretending.
Pretending takes a lot of energy.
I still have one fear. What if I ask people to repeat too often?
That's a very normal concern. Here's the truth. Asking once or twice is fine. If you're asking many times in one conversation, you can adjust. You can say, "Sorry, I'm having trouble following today." That explains the situation.
So it's okay to be honest.
Yes, honesty reduces tension. If there's one thing to remember from this episode, it's this. Understanding is more important than speed. You don't need to rush to respond. You don't need to catch everything the first time. You're allowed to pause. You're allowed to ask.
And the more you ask, the easier it gets.
Exactly. These phrases become habits, and habits build confidence. If this episode felt familiar, you're not alone. These moments happen to everyone learning a language.
And they don't mean you're failing,
They mean you're learning in real life.
which is the hardest and best way.
If you want more calm everyday English like this, we'll keep talking about real situations in the next episodes.
You're always welcome here.